the second last time we played Forge in the league.
Yeah.
Speak about the game where you provided an assist, or 2 assists, but 1 got called offside. Just speak on that game and speak on what you were feeling in that game. Speak about Calgary now. Calgary. Did you ever hear... Okay, firstly, did you ever hear about Calgary before Cavalry?
Nah, I didn't even know about it.
You didn't know nothing about it?
Obviously, I had a vague memory of it from Cool Runnings.
Okay, yeah, and Olympics,
yeah, but like apart from that, I've never really heard of it.
Okay, so I know you came over now. I think just slightly after I did, but when you step off the plane, you hear this and that about Calgary because people are warning you. It's like warning signs, isn't it? I had the same thing. You get warning signs. People are telling you it's very cold. But what did you expect and what did you feel when you stepped off that plane? And what was going through your mind?
As far as I remember, I stepped off the plane, went through customs, and then you're like, alright, cool. It's time to actually face what I'm seeing in it, like on the news and that. So I'm like, alright, cool. There was a guy who was meant to pick me up. Shout out Boza. But he was meant to pick me up. So I'm like, alright, cool. I looked outside and there was snow on the floor and I said, nah, I'm going to wait for him inside.
Yeah.
So what I did was I had all my bags on the sort of butt trolley thing. And he was calling me and he's like, oh, where are you? And I'm like, and I looked out and I'm like, oh, I'm at like number 15. And he's like, I'm at number 15 and I've gone straight to the window. I'm not trying to come out in it because I can feel the cold. I can feel the cold coming through the doors, isn't it? So I'm like, nah, I'm at 15 but I can't see you. But these times he was driving to 15. So when he reached 15, I just quickly came out kind of thing. Yeah. And then he saw me. And then I got into the car and kind of drove off. But it was colder than what I thought. Like it was cold. Luckily I had a big coat on at the time, but it was alright.
Alright, just let's get straight into it. Speak about the game where we played at home. Like it was the second last time we played Forge in the league.
Yeah.
Speak about the game where you provided an assist, or 2 assists, but 1 got called offside. Just speak on that game and speak on what you were feeling in that game.
Here at FOOTY 258, we're proud to present you with the best football-specific content. We work with many companies and many ballers to give you, the viewers, the best content possible. You, the viewer, we're always looking to help you improve your skill set. In order for you to improve your skill set and for us to keep making these videos, please click the link down below and buy some equipment. The equipment helps us run this channel, and also you subscribing to the channel helps us producing more of these videos to help you with your skill set and your knowledge of the game. Thank you for supporting FOOTY 258.
So I remember we came to the ground and what happened was the ground was actually frozen, so the game there was a possibility it was going to get called off. And we got there and like we saw like people throwing fire on the pitch.
There was fire on. People were flame throwing the pitch.
So
couldn't believe it.
So it can warm up, and I couldn't believe it. So it was like not even that, a quarter of the pitch was actually frozen. So they had to move the goal forward and shorten the pitch. And I said, all right, I'm gonna wear molds today, but I never wear molds. I always wear studs.
Yeah.
And I tried to wear molds, but I was slipping, and I was like, all right, cool. But this was just actually when I come out for the warm up, and I was freezing. Like when I mean freezing, it was as if like someone built ice around my body and told me to run, kind of thing, and it was like freezing. So I had my hat on, gloves, snood, trousers, jumper, jacket, everything. Like I couldn't risk it. So I said, all right, cool, I'm going to wear studs for the game because I can't do this. I come out and then I'm usually behind the keeper when I walk out. So I kind of try to stay behind Marco, innit? I don't know why, but I always like to be behind Marco.
Yeah.
And then I looked in front of me and I see Ledge, our captain. He had no gloves, no Under Armour. nothing. Like, you just come out in a t-shirt, shorts, socks, and boots. And
Like, what are you? Like,
and he come out like that, and I was thinking, boy, I could never do that.
Yeah.
So we come out for the game now, and before our games in Canada, they sing the national anthem.
Yeah.
And I was like, I couldn't feel my toes. I could just about feel my eyes. That's how. That's how mad it was. And my hands were frozen. And I just said, "Listen, I'm not gonna stop moving. So I'm just jumping about when the national anthem's about to be played. And when it's playing, you're just standing there, like thinking whatever. And slowly, as the game goes on, you're thinking, I'm gonna get warm, innit?
Yeah.
Not for 1 second of that game was I warm. That was the coldest. And as soon as it was done, I ran inside because it was freezing. That was probably the coldest I've ever played.
Yeah, it must be. Like, I think me personally, have I trained in the? I don't even know. To be honest, I don't even want to know. Like, to be honest, that game, we're gonna face it this time. Probably this year again. Most definitely, the weather's not gonna just change because it's a new year. But yeah, so what kind of goes through your mental state then? Let's talk about your mental state. You know, touching on, you know, the weather and how cold it is, and it's your first time being away from home. How does that kind of affect and have a play in your mental being? So are you thinking, you know, I'm here now, like, are you going to think I'm going to crumble, or are you going to think, no, I'm going to, you know, challenge this and I'm going to take this with, you know, every
in terms
stride?
of like my family and stuff, like being away from home, like my family watch pretty much every game. So like my brother and my dad pretty much watch every game, and they're super critical of me. Like they tell me after every game, like, you didn't do this, or you should have done this more, or you done this well, but you could have done this better. So being away from home, my only issue would have been is if they couldn't watch the games, and that would have upset me, because you're out there doing your craft and
they don't know what you're doing.
The most you want is your family to actually kind of see it. So one soccer done a great job, and they sort of broadcasted that online. So my family got to watch it. In terms of like weather-wise, you kind of think like, all right, cool. This is my mental state anyway. How I think of it is like, I'm cold, so that means he's cold. so if I'm cold and he's cold, he doesn't want me to be busy and run. If I start running, he's gonna be like, oh, like I'm frozen, like I don't want to run, sort of thing. So I'm like, all right, cool. That game, I made sure I was busy and I was running. And the first couple times I was playing against a Nanko, and he wasn't really tracking me as much. And then on the reverse side, he started going forward a bit more, so it made me kind of get on my toes. And I think like the less you think about the weather and the more you think about the game, the less you kind of have the weather in your mental. So that was kind of my thinking through that game. And on a regular kind of basis, if it is normal, then you kind of don't have the weather to face and think about. So
so like, you know, obviously picking off of that, you know, it's important to be mentally, you know, with it when you're playing football, because that is really, I don't know what percentage to give people watching this, but it's definitely over 50% mental.
I'll say about 90.
Yeah, it has to be, you know, because you could be the best player, you could be the most talented player, you need intelligence, and you need also, you know, to be mentally strong at the right times. You know? Everyone goes through stuff, of course, but, you know, just speak on the fact that you know, you said that it was hard for you coming over and you missed your family. I remember even at one point you said, you know what, I actually miss my family. So what day-to-day things were you doing that, you know, when you were playing football in England, what kind of changed when you came over to Canada, which you would normally do with your family?
Coming over to Canada was tough. In fact, it was an easy decision to make when I was here, but a tough decision to kind of take when I was there. Because when you get there, it's like, all right, cool, I know one person. Like, I really know one. Actually, in fact, I knew two people. So I know only two people in a country with millions.
Or maybe
of people.
three. The goalkeeper coach.
Santi.
And
so,
maybe Cameron.
So you probably know about three people. And they have their day-to-day life, so you don't want to be bugging them like, let's go do this kind of thing. So it was like, I remember my first month, I said, it's going to be amazing. And then you have this perception of what it's going to be like, so you kind of think it's going to be like a bit like America, it's lively and whatnot.
Yeah.
And Canada's a bit different, it's a bit chilled.
Well, we are anyway.
Yeah, where we are, it's very chilled.
Yeah.
Lovely people, like amazing people.
Yeah.
Like people are so nice.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like not a bad word to say about them and Canada, but it's just very different. Whereas I live in Brixton, and it's like I step out my house and literally you see people.
Every culture.
You see people walking to a concert. There's restaurants behind my house, in front of my house. So it's like, you know, it's very, very different. Whereas where we lived, it was like a little small town, little families, young families lived there. The nearest shop is about a 10-minute walk, 2-minute bike ride.
Yeah.
So it was,
and in the cold.
Yeah, in the cold. So it was crazy. And yeah, so that was the big difference. And I thought one day I was looking at flights and I was like, I'm going home, bro. I'm not doing this. I remember I called you and I was like, nah, I'm going home, man. Forget this. Like, I'm going home.
Yeah.
And then like I remember I spoke to my mum and my mum said like, you just got to force yourself to kind of like it and kind of like just hold it out.
Yeah.
After the first month, like when she said that after the first month, I thought, alright, it's calm now and it's alright. Like, and I started doing things myself, like going downtown, having meals by myself, and you really get to know yourself.
Yeah,
like,
I agree with that. Yeah.
Like when you move away from home, like I can think like, well, I know like it's turning me more into a man, and it like you don't rely on yourself, but like you rely on yourself more. Like sometimes you're not you're bored, but you have to create your own happiness or your own entertainment. You meet new people. And yeah, man, I think like going like cinema by myself, going to like drinks, but like literally going for drinks by myself, literally going for food, and yeah, going to different events, just seeing what the town is like, literally exploring. It was amazing.
Yeah, and we're not saying, by the way, that Canada, Calgary is not the best place to live. Me personally, I think it's one of the best places to live. It's just different. You know, coming from somebody, Brixton, you know, he sees a lot of people when he steps out of his house, a lot of people who looks like him, do things like him. So for him, it's very abnormal, you know, when he's moving to...
I think one of the things I'd say is people that look like you.
Yeah.
There's obviously not a lot of black people in Calgary.
Yeah.
I think the more you go downtown, the more you maybe see it, or more you go up north.
Yeah, it's about culture, you know.
Yeah, and there was a lot of obviously white people where we lived, and they were amazing people. But it's very different as to where I was, where I live now, where I live with my family. You step out your house and you see someone who looks just like you.
Yeah.
It's very different, and I hadn't experienced something like that.
Yeah, you've been away from home. Yeah,
so it was very, very different. Very, very different.
Yeah, for me, I remember I had it when I went to Germany. I was 19. You feel very alienated, especially for me. I couldn't speak the language, so it's very different when you go in and step into a different culture. You feel like, do people actually like me? You know, and they have all these stigmas and all the rest of it. You know, with what's going on in the world. So you kind of, you know, very fearful of what to expect. But Canada, Calgary is some of the most amazing people I've met in my young life so far.
For more content like this, like, share and subscribe.